What's going on, you guys? So, as a fitness coach and also an athlete, one of the most common questions is, what is your fitness routine? I'm sure that's no surprise to you. So I'm going to talk about that today to answer that big question. First, I'm going to talk about what my routine is as an athlete, with the caveat of we all have our own goals, and just because this is my fitness routine doesn't necessarily mean this is the routine I would program for anyone. There's not a single person I've worked with who I have programmed a routine that's similar to what I do. At the end of this video, I'll talk a bit about my recommendation for people, what I think their routine should be, because, let's say you have a personal trainer, you don't just ask them, oh, what's your fitness routine, and then match what theirs is. We all have our own goals and we're all different. So I'll answer the question for myself and clarify what my goals are, and then I'll talk a little bit about what my recommendation would be for you at the end of this video. So a little bit about my goals. So right now I'm actually training for the Boston Marathon. So I'm pretty aggressively running. I'm running a lot. I am sort of just coming off doing an Ironman 70.3. In the summer and the fall, I was doing a lot of swimming, biking, and running. Now I'm mostly just doing running with a little bit of biking and swimming mixed in as some low impact cardio. But right now I'm actually trying out a running program where I am running 5 to 6 days per week. 6 is, I don't usually run 6 days a week, but it's some easier runs mixed in there. So I feel like my body is really used to running now, and I like doing short little easy runs as opposed to less days per week. I am also someone who a big priority for me is maintaining strength. I honestly care more about staying well-rounded than I do having a good marathon time. So as I'm heading into this Boston Marathon this year, and it's April 20th, so kind of, around the corner, winter's gonna go faster than we think. A big goal of mine is to maintain strength, even if it means prioritizing lifting a little bit more than running. As long as I'm, safely able to execute the Boston Marathon, I'm not trying to impress anyone. I'm trying to maintain the strength that I have, because it's incredibly important for me, who, as an athlete, I do a lot of different things. I'm dancing, I'm running, I'm doing triathlons. I want to make sure that I am staying safe, staying injury-free, and I don't care about, I'm not trying to set any records with the Boston Marathon this year. With my strength routine, I'll talk a little bit about what I do on my 4 strength training days. I'll go day by day through my routine and just kind of fill you in on what I do Monday through Sunday. So I have 4 main strength workouts that I am currently following. And the cool thing is that what I'm following right now is actually my own programming, which I don't usually do. I usually like to follow someone else's program, but I decided to try this out because this is the program that I recently created for members on my app. Shameless plug. If you can afford to spend $19 a month, you can get tons of on-demand workouts with me, but also you can get access to this strength training program that I'm following right now. So it's just fun for me to follow the program that I've programmed for a big group of people, because I'm just kind of along for the ride with them, and also I can really experience what they're experiencing and, make little changes and just see how my programming, what the effects of my programming is. So it's 4 days per week. I have 2 lower body days, 2 upper body days. Again, I'm not always following this split in this program. This is just what I'm doing currently. So with my 2 lower body days, one, I always like to have a compound lift be the main event. And in my head, when I go into a workout, that first lift is the main event. That's the meat on my plate. Everything else is the vegetables and the rice or whatever. One lower body day, my main focus and my main lift is a barbell back squat. And what I'll say again, I know this is about me, but kind of with people that I program, I give options to do a goblet squat or other variations of a squat. But what I do is a barbell back squat. And then I do some accessory lower body work, I'm doing some Bulgarian split squats and things like that. I am doing some hinging and some hamstring work on this day. I do a dumbbell RDL, Romanian deadlift, on this day. So it's not just a squat day. I just call it my lower body 1. The main focus that day is that back squat, but it's kind of hitting all the lower body muscles. On my other lower body day, the main event is kind of that deadlift. But again, I also do a dumbbell front squat on that day, do some lunges, some leg curls and things like that. And on each day of this program, actually, the last exercise I do is some sort of weighted core exercise. So cable crunches, I guess my only non-weighted one is hanging leg raises, but I'll just do Russian twists. So some sort of weighted core exercise will always finish out the days in this program that I've created for my clients and for me. Then I have 2 upper body days. So one day is mostly focused on the bench press. Again, it's not just an upper push day. My upper days are upper pull and upper push. So one day is focused on the bench press, but I'm also doing an overhead press. I'm doing some pulling motions on that day. So it's not just like a chest and tries day. And then my second upper body day and my final strength, my 4th day is, and I'm actually going out of order here. I'm gonna go back and go Monday through Sunday. I'm just reading off my program. The main lift that day is a barbell bent over row, which again, in this program, I give people different options, kind of different tracks. I do a barbell bent over row just because it's what I like and for my goals, but I have some options for other people that I would prefer them to do. And I also do pull-ups that day, doing like incline dumbbell chest press that day. So it's not just an upper pull day. And then I'll put the big picture together Monday through Sunday. My running program, like I said, it's 5 to 6 days per week. And I'm gonna be honest, when it comes to all of my workouts on my calendar, because I have not a typical job, when you work in fitness, it's not 9 to 5. It's early mornings, late nights, midday. With this fitness reality show I just did, there's been so many like press things that I've done and so much traveling. So my schedule is like really all over the place. The amazing thing about working in fitness and teaching classes is I'm not working 40 hours per week. I physically could not teach 40 classes per week. So in terms of in-person work, like there's a lot I do online, which is super flexible because I can do this on weekends. Like today, it's a Saturday and I'm pretty much working all day for myself because it's the one day I don't have to go in person to a gym and train people. But I do have a flexible schedule. I have a really flexible schedule and I'm able to go on a run at 10 a.m. on a Monday when most people are working, or 2 p.m. on a Tuesday when most people are working. So I'm able to work out more than most people. I'm also in a gym all day. So if I have an hour free in the gym between classes or whatever, or clients, I'm like, oh, what a perfect time to work out. So really lucky in that sense. But I don't want you to think that working in fitness is easy, because imagine, working at 5 in the morning and then finishing at 8 p.m. at night. Like you get home and you have to turn around and do the same thing the next day. Like it's really as hard to work on an opposite schedule from everyone because it's exhausting. Like it's exhausting. I would love to only work from the hours of 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., but I would not make any money because no one's gonna work out at 10 a.m. on a weekday. 5 to 6 because that 6th easy run day, like sometimes I drop it if I'm busy. So I'll have essentially 2 to 3 really easy runs. I'm talking like 4 to 5 miles of not very fast pace. Like I can do that run and I'm feeling great, fresh, not super taxing. And then I have an interval day and a tempo day. And this is not a program that I have designed. It's one that I have hired someone and paid for. For example, this week says intervals, 4 mile total, 4 800-meter runs with some rest in between, I assume. Yeah, like 1 minute rest. Oh, it's like 800-meter and then 400. So that's the interval day. And then there's a tempo run day that looks like it will end up being about 5 miles total. A bit of a warm up, and then 5 1-mile repeats at a faster pace than usual with some rest in between each mile, or a recovery run in between. And then I have my long run day, my favorite day, which I did today. So I'm again training for the Boston Marathon. So it ebbs and flows, that long run. Obviously I'm working up to that 26.2, the longest run I'll probably do in this training block is maybe like 22, 23 miles, working my way up there and then, tapering before the race. Getting back to my schedule, Monday through Sunday, let's open up my calendar because it's my best tip. I put all of my workouts in my calendar like it's a meeting. And I drag and drop and move it around because, like I said, my schedule can be flexible sometimes. So if I'm meeting with a client or I have a Zoom call or something at 10 a.m. on a weekday and I'm like, oh shoot, that's usually when I go on my run or whatever, I can just drag and drop it to a different time in that day or a different day of the week. Let's say Sunday, because Sunday in my head is kind of like the start of the week. And keep in mind, again, I am training for performance to hybrid athlete. You can use that term. Maintaining strength, being really strong, and potentially competing in things like high rocks or, local competitions, while also being able to run marathons and do an Ironman in the near future and do triathlons and all that stuff. Keep in mind, this is a very aggressive routine. I'll go into a little bit of what I'd recommend later on. Sunday, I will sometimes do an easy run but Sunday is not much for me. It is a rest day. I'll sometimes take a yoga class. This is like a yin yoga class, so it's like you literally do 4 static stretches in the entire 45 minutes. So Sunday is a really easy day. Sometimes something will trickle over onto a Sunday, like an easy run if I did not plan my week out or if things didn't quite go as expected. Monday is my lower body 1 day, squat focused. I am super lucky that I'm able to work out twice a day. So on Mondays, for example, what I will usually do is my interval run, which is short in time. Like it doesn't really take as long, usually a little bit shorter than some of my easy run days, but it's definitely aggressive. My priority is maintaining strength, like I said. So I will do that in the morning when I'm feeling really fresh. So I'll do my lower body workout. I was about to say an hour. It isn't, honestly. I do it in 45 minutes because again, I'm trying to keep it brief, not kill myself because I'm running a lot. And then I'll honestly let 6 hours pass before I come back to my interval run. So you could look at my Monday and be like, oh my God, you're doing 45-minute lower body, you're squatting heavy, and then you're going on this interval run. Like that's a lot. But there's about 6 hours of recovery time in between those two things. Tuesday, sometimes I'll actually swim in the morning on Tuesdays, but I will do an easy run and my upper body 1 day, which is that bench press focus day. Again, those are spread out. So I'll do 1 in the morning and 1 at night. I usually actually run first on Tuesdays in the morning, and then I'll do that upper body day later on in the day because I care more about lower body strength in terms of the performance goals I have. I'm just not as focused on aesthetics. So I do it later in the day knowing that I'm probably going to be tired and not wanting to give 100% effort into that. And that is intentional. Wednesdays, I usually won't run. If I did not get my easy run in on Mondays, sometimes it will trickle over. Like I'm actually looking at this past week and I did do an easy run on Wednesdays. But usually I won't run just because it's a busy day for me. But that is my lower body 2 day. That is that deadlift focus day. I will always do that in the morning because again, it's a big priority for me. I want strong legs, strong, healthy lower body. And then if I do run, it will be in the evening once I'm recovered. Thursday will be my tempo run, and I'll usually do yoga as well. Sometimes Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday did not go perfectly. I will push one of those workouts over to Thursday, but usually I will not do any strength training on Thursday. Which brings me to Friday, which I will do that final lower body deadlift day, which will be my 4th and final strength workout of the week, essentially. And then this is another day. My easy runs, honestly, the more I go through this, I'm like, they're so fluid. I just kind of sprinkle them in there. But at this point, I've already done my interval on Tuesday and my tempo run on Thursday. Friday, I usually do end up doing an easy run, but sometimes it ends up being a rest day if on like Sunday and all those days prior I ended up doing that easy run because the next day, Saturday, is long run Saturday. That is when I'll do my long run. I will not do anything else. The long run will be enough. Nothing else, just that long run and then sit on that couch, watch some TV, stretch, recover my legs, get in the Normatec boots. And that brought me to Saturday. Again, it's funny giving that routine because it genuinely does change because I have the flexibility to, but something that I always maintain is that rest period of like about 6 hours between the morning and the evening session. And if I was to drop something, it will be that one of those easy runs within the week or an upper body workout. I always want to hit that lower body just for me and my goals, and being a dancer and a runner and a triathlete, I just want strong legs. Now, in terms of what I would recommend for people, not this routine. Again, most of you are simply not going to have the time or the energy to healthily maintain this routine, work a more traditional job with stricter hours without sort of creating your own schedule. I, again, program for most people, my kind of closest thing to a one-size-fits-all program is my 4-day routine, which I'm doing right now, 2 lower body, 2 upper body. And then I will recommend in my app 2 days of cardio. So one day definitely being like an easy sort of zone 2 recovery day, and maybe one day being a little bit more aggressive. And within my app, I will put on people's calendar. So you literally like open your phone and it's on your calendar. Always sprinkle in a core workout video that you could either do with no equipment or a dumbbell that I've pre-recorded. So I think it's great to add in core, especially since you can just do it, you know, at home or in your bedroom for 15 minutes and move on. And then also some recovery stretching, which love to sprinkle in. I personally like to do at night before I go to bed, which is a good recommendation. So that program that I have for most people is 4 strength training days, 2 pretty brief cardio days, just picking a cardio machine or going outside for a run and getting that zone 2 cardio. But again, I have different clients who have different requirements. Sometimes people are working out 3 days a week. Sometimes it's 5 days a week. Sometimes it's 6 days a week. Some people are only working out at home. Some people are working out in a gym and at home. So it is really not one size fits all. This workout routine of mine is very specific to the time of my life that I'm in right now, and catch me after the Boston Marathon, it'll be entirely different. So maybe I'll make another video about that. Hopefully that gave you a little bit of an insight to my routine. What I do is not necessarily what you should do or what I would recommend for the general population. So keep that in mind, and I'll see you in the next video.